Hey everybody, I'm just getting position here. Alright, if you are not familiar with who I am and you just happen upon this video because of my clickbait title, Les Stroud, also known as Survivorman. Google me, you figure it out from there. Let me get started with telling you what I have coming up. I have teamed up with, or at least I'm producing for, PBS, and I will be launching a special coming up called Surviving Disasters with Les Stroud. It should be launching at the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021. I will be covering hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, freeze-outs, blackouts, all sorts of natural disasters. And of course, if you happen to be watching this within the time period I'm making it, then you're dealing with this whole coronavirus outbreak. So pandemics gets on this list as well. But the truth of the matter is, it's not so much that I'm going to be highlighting the disasters themselves, but it's what you should be able to do about them, about the results of the disasters. Because the results are no water, no power, no food, no transportation, no medical supplies. Maybe you have pets, you have children, there are seniors. It's about, really, you know what it is? It's about what your Aunt Nancy, who lives in Texas and is without power for 18 weeks because of a flood, what does she do? All right, so this is not, I'll make this distinction right now. This is not a prepping video, okay? This is not for preppers or homesteaders or any of that. This is for the rest of us, all right? So I'm going to keep this clean and simple. This video will primarily deal with how you prepare yourself in terms of food supplies. And I will get into equipment later as well. I'll cover water, equipment, your car, dealing with power, how to keep power going, or that sort of thing. So, but for now, let's just stick with the food. And the reason I came about this was because actually my daughter sent me a text saying, hey, you know, everybody's kind of panicking and this, what should I do? And then I realized, okay, this is the main thing here that I want to get across. Got to stop the panic. All right, so you guys are freaking out and panicking about this we're putting the big P on it, pandemic. And the problem is that panic. See, I'm not worried about the coronavirus at all, or probably most viruses that come through. I'm worried about the panic that ensues with people who are uninformed as to the power they have and the safety that they live within, and the simple matter of what is really involved when you're dealing with something that affects society at large that seems scary. So I could start this off with what I call the Survivorman zones of assessment. And that is where first you calm down and then you start to assess. What do you really have at your disposal? What is there to help you get through the situation? So the first thing, as they say in sports, take a knee, calm down. Let's think this through. Zone of assessment number 1 is your body. If you were in a survival situation in camping, it would be, well, what are you carrying with you? What's in your backpack? But right now, it's just with this situation that as again, at the time of this video production, the whole coronavirus thing has to do with, all right, well, my body. That virus is affecting people who have compromised immune systems, the elderly, the sick, of which I am not any of that. So I'm probably within the 80% of people who may get the coronavirus and not even know they have it, not even really feel an issue, or the issues are very mild. So I know that in zone of assessment number 1, I'm doing okay. Zone of assessment number 2 is the subject matter of this video, and that's what you have close at hand. Zone of assessment number 3, for the sake of it, is what is further afield, and that might be agencies and facilities that are out there to help you further afield. But let's deal with zone of assessment number 2, the stuff that you have close at hand. And we'll move it on from there. By the way, it's really hard for me not to be cynical about this, but again, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was because I started seeing various YouTube videos where you're getting all kinds of really bad advice, and it's kind of panic-strewn advice and silly advice. And I just wanted to bring it to the point of where your feet are on the ground, and let's just deal with this realistically. This is information for the rest of us, not people who are freaking out. So let's do that. The other side of this is, again, because coincidentally, I was actually about to go out and buy myself the food stores I need, because I thought, well, hey, I'm about to produce a special for PBS called Surviving Disasters with Les Stroud, and And I realized I'm being a hypocrite because the stores in my home are not really set up very well. So I need to get better set up. And then the coronavirus outbreak happened. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see people panic buy. Do not panic buy. You do not need to panic buy. You can take care of this stuff casually, calmly, and self-assuredly. Just go in and pick stuff up. Word of warning, I'm standing in front of a lot of money worth of food right now because I went and I did it all at once. You don't need to. You can do this calmly, and you can get out there and you can pick stuff up as your budget allows. And that is going to be the main thing that I want to get across here, is that what you need to do it the way it works for you. So, I was thinking actually just recently, for example, if you're getting some kind of crazy advice, like, you got to have rice, man, you need to have rice for this, and then you're like, but I hate rice and I don't eat rice ever. Then don't get rice. Get something else that suits you. All right, let's start it off this way. I've got a few things here ready for you. First of all, this can be really easy. What I've done is I've actually purchased for myself and my partner, so this is for 2 people, a 3-month supply. Why a 3-month supply? A lot of people say, like in camping, it's like, or in emergencies, it's a 3-day supply. I don't know why we're hooked on this 3 thing. But it is good. The law of 3s does work in a lot of situations. I have 3 zones of assessment. But in the end, the 3-day thing, that's not really going to do a lot, I don't think. So I am a fan of going much longer in your supplies. What you are hearing is go for 2 weeks. Why? Because that is the amount of time that you have to self-isolate if you get this particular virus, if you're watching this again during the coronavirus outbreak. 2 weeks. That to me feels really short-sighted, and it's cutting it kind of thin, I think, just to stick with only 2 weeks, because that's what the medical organizations are recommending. If I have my druthers, I'm actually going to suggest a 3-month supply. Now, why 3 months? Why not longer? Why not a year? Why not be a Mormon and have 3 years supply? Well, first of all, when you get into being, say, a Mormon, and you have a 1 to 3 year supply of food, I could be getting this all wrong. I apologize to every Mormon watching this, but my understanding is that religiously speaking, you're supposed to have this long supply. Okay, well, you know what else happens when you do that? All of the preppers have your addresses. That's a little funny detail most people don't get, is preppers actually have the addresses of all the Mormons, so they know where there's a 3-year supply of food. Think about that and load up your rifle, I suppose. And that brings me to the other side of this, preppers and the whole 1-year supply. Here's the reality of why I think it should be a 3-month supply, okay? Starting with this, first of all, you're not going to be sitting on your porch with a shotgun on your lap going, "Get off my property." That's not going to happen, okay? You're not going to hold in and bunker in, and that's it. It's you against the world with just your tight little family, and protect yourself with your 1-year supply of food waiting for Armageddon and the zombies to leave, okay? That's not going to happen. First and foremost, whatever issue happens on a large society scale, you're not going to be prepared for. There's always going to be these details, these things that you just didn't count on. Like, I mean, let's face it, in North America, in recent history anyway, I don't remember us ever having to go through anything like this. So we're not going to be prepared. Agencies are going to struggle. They're going to do their best, but they're going to struggle. All of us are going to struggle. And so your prepping and being ready with your shotgun and your little bunker and all that ain't going to do you a lot of good when the real thing hits the fan. Okay? So let's be realistic about this, and this is where I like to bring it down. Why a 3-month supply, and why not think like a prepper and be all prepared? Because in the end, I care about my fellow man. I'm not interested in holding up in some little place and saying, "Go away, and I got my food, I don't trust anybody." No. That's not it at all. Because you know as well as I do that if your next door neighbor, who might be, say, a divorced father of 2, comes over with 2 little kids, and they're not prepared, and it's hit the fan in your neighborhood or in society in general, you're going to let them in. You're going to help them out. This is why your 3-month supply actually becomes only a 30-day supply at that point, because we're helping out our neighbors, our friends. Let's take it a step further. Your son's living in Texas going to school. Your daughter's living in Wisconsin working. You've got aunts, uncles, relatives, friends. We care about our fellow man, and we're going to care that they survive the big one too. So your 1 year supply and sitting there on your porch with your shotgun, okay, there's a few freaks that'll do that. But most of us care about the people who are down the street. We care about everybody around us, and we especially are going to be concerned with our relatives who live elsewhere. I know that if it happens when it comes to me, I'm going to want to find my son and my daughter and make sure that they're okay. And that might be 2,000 kilometers, or if you're American, miles away from where I live right now. So you see, this is why this concept of that I see so often online, like with farmers, for example, that's the other side of this, the cost of things. You know, it's okay for homesteaders and farmers to show you sheds full of a big, long supply of food that can last forever. But that doesn't help, you know, my niece who's going to school in Ottawa who's rooming with 3 other people. Yeah, they can't do that. Or you live in an apartment, or a bachelor, you know, rooming with people, this and that, or you have a small house, or you don't have the budget. So this is for the rest of us who just want to lead our normal lives, but not be caught unawares. And that's why I like to bring this down to a 30-day supply, or a 3-month supply, I should say. I have in front of me a 3-month supply for 2 people, but I'm kind of counting on having to help other people, which means really I have a 30-day supply once I start either giving it away or having people come here and having them eat with us, that sort of thing, or look after them. So that, I believe, is the true reality of who we are as a people. We want to help others. We want to care about others. So the long-term prepping nonsense is just that. Hoarding food is great, but remember, the rest of us know you're hoarding it. And so what I like to do, let's start with this. In my regular pantry, I like to at least have an arbitrary supply of food that probably would last a week or 2 or even a month. So start with that. Your normal pantry, if you can, when you go to buy a can of this or a box of that or a bag of this, buy an extra one and slowly build up the store so that your general pantry is well stocked. Okay, that's number 1. Then we'll get to this bunch in front of me, which is your main supply of emergency rations. We'll start with this. It's really simple. Make it easy for you. Let's say we'll go with 1 month supply. Okay, I did 3 months, but we'll go with 1 month supply. Make a menu. Real simple. This is how you remember it. Take a menu, and you want to put all your weeks. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 7 days there. All right. So that's a 1 week menu. On this menu, I put breakfast, lunch, dinner. I write down oatmeal, 2 days. Pancakes, 2 days. Whatever I want. Same thing with lunches, same thing with dinners. And I put that down. Now here's a little tip. We actually did it in a way so that lunches and dinners are pretty much the same thing. So that way you're making 1 meal, saving fuel, that sort of thing. Maybe it's a pasta meal or a chili or a stew or a soup or something like that. And that will suffice for both the lunch and the dinner. So that's number 1. Make yourself a week menu. Now, you want to do it for 30 days? Times it by 4, so you just flip, that's it. The menu's done. Flip that menu 4 times. Now, for example, oatmeal. Half a cup of oatmeal per person. So for 2 people, cup of oatmeal. 2 times oatmeal in a week, that's 2 cups of oatmeal. 4 weeks, I need 8 cups of oatmeal. Real simple. And you do that all the way down the line. And you end up with a shopping list with your items. And you can either check it off every once in a while as you go out shopping, or you can go and do the big expense and do it all at once. But again, do not panic buy. Do this with a light heart. Do this casually and comfortably. And don't forget condiments, right? So this is the beauty. This is why I like doing the menu side of it, is because it reminds you of the things you need. Oh, we get oatmeal. Okay, we got oatmeal. Oh, we got oatmeal. Maybe we should have some maple syrup. You know, that sort of thing. That's what I like about the menu. It reminds you of the items that you would otherwise forget. Oh, we've got pasta. Okay, what goes with pasta? Oh, we need to get some sauce. That sort of thing. And then make up your... Now what you've got, it's real simple. You've got your week's menu. You flipped it by 4. Now you've got the math of what you need to buy. Go out on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, whenever. Relax, go out and pick up what you need. Okay? I'm going to pop around here and grab the camera so I can show you what I've got. Take a look here. All right, coffee, oatmeals, there's my breakfasts, various beans and lentils, millet, that sort of thing, pastas, Tetra packs of soup, cans of salmon, honey and syrup, olive oil, some basic items like flour, baking powder, things like that. All right, come down here. There's my cans. In this case, I'm including a couple of things. All right, so in this case, I want to include toilet paper and actually medications. All right, I'm hesitating because there's a lot of other things I want to include, but I'm going to do that in a different video. So for the food list, I have included toilet paper. I have not included cleaning and sanitation items. So this is just food, toilet paper, and medications. Now that's something that I've recently discovered, is that I was not aware how many of our basic medications come from China, for example. And shelves are starting to go bare for basic medications. Now, I don't get many headaches, but once in a while I'll get a bad one every 2 months or something. And I need some acetaminophen for my headache. So I want to make, and if I don't, it's going to be a miserable day and night for me. So I've got some and they're ready to go. So that is pretty simple. Now, here's the other point in this. This is stuff that I like to eat. All right? Don't get stuff you don't like to eat because it's on some survival prepper's list. Get the stuff you like. That's what will work for you, and measure it out. That's what will make you happy and much more comfortable. If you never eat lentils, then for God's sake, don't buy lentils, because they're actually an acquired taste, if you ask me. So, all right, so I've got all this stuff now that I've picked up, okay? Here's what I like to put in them, all right? Or to put the food in. Let me do this over here. Move you around, put you down there. All right, there we go. This is where I like to put the items. Now, I want you to see these because I have a specific reason for using these types of containers, all right? First of all, they're see-through, and that helps an awful lot. You know, when you're looking quickly on the shelf, it's like, oh, there's the toilet paper. You know, or someone else that has to go grab it. Just go down, look at their see-through cases, and grab the one with the cans in it. Okay, go down and grab it. All right, that's number one. You will obviously label, take your lid, masking tape, because you might want to change it. So don't write right on the bins. Write what's in it on the masking tape, and you can change it if you need to, obviously on the label. But I've just found that I put the labels all the way around, because you never know where this is going to be sitting, and can you see, you might not be able to see the top if there's something else on top of it. So label it up well, but see-through to me helps a lot. Why this many, and why are they so small? This is a real important one for me, and I want you to grasp this. They're this size because I can do the whole big macho guy thing and you know, pick up and carry what I need. I'm protecting my family and so on and so forth. But the reality is, these things need to be able to be picked up by anybody. The way I put it is, can a 10-year-old pick it up? Right? It might not be you that's grabbing and going. Let's say you've set this up and you've left home and your wife needs to get out of the house quickly because of a wildfire, but is going to grab these supplies. Can she pick all this stuff up? You now that you've been working out with weights and you've put all the cans in one big huge container? No. So I'm harping on this because it's important, because these are the kind of things that when they happen, it's when everything breaks down. And, you know, why didn't you bring the thing full? I didn't have enough time and I couldn't lift it. That's why you don't want to put this stuff in big barrels, that sort of thing. It's also why for the emergency rations, I don't like them all just sitting out in the pantry lined up. You cannot grab and go if they're lined up in the pantry. The pantry should be nice and full, but you cannot grab and go. So this is about having items that are well protected, stored, easy to spot. You know where they are. A 10-year-old can pick this up and carry it. And if you need to leave the house, you can grab this and put it in the car and take off. All right, I've got more videos to make about this stuff if you guys would like. I want to go over equipment, as I said, how to maintain power. There's various points to this. And as I said, I'll remind again that I am doing a brand new series, a special. I didn't mention the series. So the brand new series I'm doing for PBS launches this fall is called Wild Harvest, and it's about local foraging. And then the main special is called Surviving Disasters with Les Stroud. I'm actually producing it right now, filming stories and covering the content and working with agencies to bring you the definitive film work on how to be prepared for, survive, and recover from natural disasters, including pandemics. I'll leave you with this. We can prepare for ourselves this way. And let's remember, if you've got children, you want to think about the kinds of items that your kids are going to need and the kinds of food that your kids are going to need. If you have seniors, so we get into more specifics on that. The bottom line is that you want to really customize this to you. I'm very big on customizing your survival kits, customizing your first aid kits, and customizing your emergency supplies. Make sure they are customized to you and your family. But remember, you are going to help your neighbor when they knock on your door and they're hurting. You're not going to turn them away. So think about that when you store this stuff up. Lastly, let's not forget pets. Do you have pet food? Thought about that? See, right now with the particular virus outbreak that we're dealing with, I started to think, wait a minute, what if the place where I go and get all my dog food shuts down because they have to close their doors because they're worried about the virus outbreak? I have no dog food at that point. So dog food lasts a good long time. What I've done is I bought myself a 3-month supply of dog food, and now I will continue to buy, but to keep it fresh, and you can do this with these items as well, to keep it fresh, I will buy, put that one at the back end of the pile, take this bag and go and feed my dog. That way the best before dates keep staying in a way where your stuff will last much longer. You'll want to do this with your cans and different food items. To be quite honest, personal opinion on this, the best before dates, I've gone way past the best before dates in various little log cabins around in the wilderness with food that's been stored, and it's been just fine. So, take that with a little bit of grain of salt as far as the best before dates go, but just the same, if you want to have, here's a can of whole artichokes. Okay, so it's got a bbest before date of October 2022. Woo, that's a really good one. But along the way, if I buy another can and I want to have this, I can then just keep cycling it, replacing it. So I put that into the emergency supplies, take this one out and actually eat it. That's how you keep your stuff fresh. All right, don't forget your pets. Don't forget your medications. Don't forget your seniors. Don't forget your kids. I hope this video has been helpful to you. As I said, it was kind of spurred on by watching a lot of silly videos on YouTube. I want you to keep your feet on the ground. Most importantly, don't panic. Keep yourself calm. Everything is going to be fine. If you're lucky and you live in a house, you can do things like this. If you're not so lucky and you're rooming with 3 other people or you've got a little bachelor apartment or something like that, well, do what you can. That's the bottom line. Just do what you can, do it calmly, and help your fellow man. And we'll get through this together. I'll see you guys again.